So this is Lesson 1, Introduction to Oceanography, some basics for us. Understanding the ocean requires a very broad grasp of how planet Earth works. This is referred to as Earth science. Key for your understanding is that Earth functions as a system. Major components of the system: hydrosphere, atmosphere, geosphere, and the biosphere. Also, you must understand that the components of the Earth system are constantly interacting with each other. This photograph shows a volcano erupting, so it's spewing gases and solid particles into the atmosphere. One of the main gases is water. It eventually condenses as rain. You can see that on the slopes of the volcano we have the biosphere, that lush vegetation, and in the foreground is the ocean. So all the components of the Earth system are present. So, a little more detail. Hydrosphere, all the water on Earth, so that'd be the ocean, lakes, streams, groundwater, and what is called solid water or ice. Clearly, the most important aspect of the hydrosphere is the ocean, our topic for this semester. So here's another take on the hydrosphere. It's helpful to have a diagram, an illustration. Usually we start with the ocean, where you have evaporation, then condensation. You can move that moist air mass over land, and that then creates more condensation, comes down as rain or snow, and eventually that fresh water will make its way back into the ocean via streams or from groundwater. And that's the cycle, the hydrosphere. The atmosphere, gases, mainly nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide, these envelop and protect Earth from space. The geosphere, that's our solid Earth, core, mantle, and crust. We'll talk in detail about those different components of the geosphere. Biosphere, this is all life on Earth, including you, going from simple one-celled organisms to very complex plants and animals. The image on the left shows the big picture of Earth with the continents, and the green shades, that would be plants, the vegetation. And to the right, you see some human beings interacting with some of the biosphere, the plants that are in that particular area. So here we have an image of planet Earth taken from space. Which components of the Earth system can you see? I'm hoping you said all components are visible. So the clouds, that's the white, representing the atmosphere. Ocean represents the hydrosphere. Land, the geosphere. And of course our forests, the biosphere. Considering these four components, they're constantly interacting with each other. That means there is constant cycling of matter and energy between these spheres. So here's a good diagram. We'll come back to this during quite a bit of the semester, so become very familiar with this illustration. It shows an example of the cycling of matter and energy on Earth, which is essentially a product of heat flow from Earth's interior. So let's go through this sequence step by step. With point A, wet ocean crust is forced or subducted beneath the continent. So on the left-hand side, well, actually kind of in the middle, you have a purple arrow that shows that oceanic crust is subducting. And of course, since it was under the ocean, it contains a lot of water. As the crust goes deeper underground, where it's hotter, that crust melts, forms what we call magma, molten elements, and that magma works its way to the surface and taking water with it. Eventually, the magma will work its way to the surface where we have volcanic eruptions, and that releases heat, energy, and lava, and that can cool to form brand new land, so we're adding to the geosphere. These eruptions also release gases, especially water vapor from Earth's interior. So that's going to contribute to the atmosphere. The water vapor cools, forming rain, that then can enter the ocean either directly or via streams. So there's our hydrosphere. Beautiful image of part of Africa, that's Mount Kilimanjaro off in the distance. So rainfall and rich volcanic soil grow forest habitats full of plants and animals. So for us, we'll focus on the global scale of Earth system interactions, the big picture, and we'll also focus in, when appropriate, on smaller local scale Earth system interactions. This photograph shows an example of the small scale. It's rocky shoreline environment, Palos Verdes Peninsula, Southern California. I'm hoping at this stage you can identify the hydrosphere, geosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere on this photograph. So of great interest to us is how the ocean affects land, waves and currents, and how land affects the ocean, sediment, and streams. These are definitely major topics for this course. We'll come back to this image and others that are similar as we move along through our discussion of oceanography.